In the distant future, humanity had achieved the unthinkable. They had spread their influence across the stars, colonizing countless planets, establishing trade networks, and forging alliances with alien species. But despite their remarkable achievements, there was always one adversary that humanity could never seem to defeat: the Varan. The Varan were a terrifying and relentless race of intergalactic conquerors. Towering over most species, with chitinous exoskeletons and eyes that gleamed like burning coals, the Varan had one goal: domination. Their warships were larger than entire cities, their weapons capable of turning planets into ashes. The first encounter with the Varan had been disastrous. Hundreds of colonies were wiped out, entire fleets annihilated, and the once proud alliance of species crumbled under the onslaught of their merciless might. As the war dragged on, desperation began to take hold across the galaxy. The galaxy's most advanced military forces, from the enigmatic Serafians to the cold-hearted Drekari, all faced certain defeat. The once united coalition turned into a disorganized rabble, each species retreating to their own homeworlds, abandoning the rest of the galaxy to its fate. The Varan had no mercy, and there seemed to be no hope left. In the heart of the Galactic Senate, the last bastion of diplomacy, a council was held to discuss humanity's role. The council chambers were filled with grim faces, representatives of every species who had once stood side by side with humanity. Now their glances were filled with suspicion and fear. The humans, despite their bravado, had not been able to turn the tide. They had their fleets, yes, but they were far too small compared to the might of the Varan Armada. A quiet murmur passed through the room as a dark figure stepped forward. It was the leader of the last human fleet, Captain Jonathan Carter. His uniform was torn and singed from countless battles, and his eyes showed the wear of someone who had seen too much. The room fell silent as he addressed the council. "There's one thing the Varan don't understand," he said, his voice steady despite the tension in the air. "They don't understand us. They don't understand humanity." The words were met with confused glances. The Drakari emissary, a massive reptilian creature, hissed, "What could your race possibly offer that we have not already seen? You are nothing but insects to the Varan." Captain Carter straightened, his expression unwavering. "You think they fear our weapons, our fleets? No. What they fear, what they truly fear, is us. The Varan don't know what it's like to be driven to the brink of extinction and still come out fighting. They don't understand what it means to be human." The room remained silent, the weight of Carter's words hanging heavily in the air. Finally, a voice broke the stillness. It was Lysara, the Serafian representative. She was tall, ethereal, with an almost glowing skin tone. She leaned forward, her sharp eyes searching Carter's face. "Explain yourself, Captain. What are you suggesting?" Carter's lips curled into a faint, almost grim smile. "I'm saying that we haven't fought this war the right way. We've been playing by their rules, using their weapons, their tactics. But that's not how humanity fights. We fight with something else. Something they won't ever comprehend." A hush fell over the council. The Serafians, known for their wisdom, exchanged wary glances. The Drakari grunted in disbelief. Only the humans, sitting in the back of the room, seemed to understand what Carter was saying. "You're suggesting," Lysara said slowly, "that you want us to abandon our tactics and follow yours. What makes you so certain that your way will work?" Carter's eyes gleamed with a fierce fire. "Because we've done it before. Every time we've been pushed to the brink, every time the odds were stacked against us, we didn't just give up. We adapted, we innovated, and we fought. We fight not just for survival, but because we believe in something bigger, something worth protecting. That's something the Varan will never understand." The room fell into silence as the weight of his words sank in. The alien races that had once scoffed at humanity's irrational determination began to feel a stir of doubt. Could it be true? Could this unassuming, emotional species truly hold the key to victory? Without a word, Carter turned and walked to the central holotable. With a few quick gestures, a projection of the Varan fleet appeared, immense and imposing. The ships hovered in orbit over a ravaged world, its once thriving cities now reduced to rubble. Carter's fingers moved rapidly across the table, zooming in on the Varan flagship, a massive behemoth the size of a moon. "You see this?" Carter asked. This is their mistake. They think that their size and strength are enough to crush us, but what they don't realize is that they have no understanding of the human spirit. He stepped back, letting the projection play out. On the screen, the human fleet, barely a fraction of the Varan's numbers, entered the fray. But instead of charging head-on like their previous engagements, they took a different approach. They moved with purpose, using their smaller, more agile ships to exploit the Varan's weaknesses. Instead of fighting in a traditional frontal assault, they attacked their enemies' vulnerabilities, striking from unexpected angles, creating chaos in the Varan ranks. The first attack was a decoy, drawing the Varan's forces into a trap. The human fleet had anticipated the Varan's next move, setting up countermeasures and traps across the battlefield. The Varan, overconfident and eager to crush their enemies, fell right into it. A devastating blow to the Varan flagship sent shockwaves through the galaxy. It wasn't just a victory in battle, it was a psychological one. The Varan had been bested at their own game, and they couldn't fathom how it had happened. They were not used to being outwitted by a lesser species. As the final battle unfolded, the Varan forces began to retreat. It wasn't the might of superior firepower or technology that had won the day. It was the sheer unpredictability and tenacity of humanity. The Varan had underestimated them, and now they were paying the price. When the dust settled, the galaxy was left in stunned silence. The once unstoppable Varan had been forced to retreat, their forces broken, their morale shattered. The galaxy had been saved, not by brute strength, but by the ingenuity and resolve of humanity. As the message spread across the stars, one thing became clear. The Varan had learned a harsh lesson. No matter how powerful they were, they could never truly conquer humanity, because the humans fought not just with their weapons, but with their hearts. And that was something no one, no matter how powerful, could ever defeat. The council chamber was quiet for a long moment before Lysara finally spoke. "It seems we underestimated you." Captain Carter nodded. "You're not the only ones. But don't make that mistake again." The humans had won the day, and with it, the respect of the galaxy.